Hello guys, welcome back to our introduction to programming with Python series. So this is going to be video number 9, and this video number 9 you're going to be looking at math functions in Python. So math functions can be, for example, finding a sine of of an angle, finding the tangent, the cotangent, and stuff like that of an angle. So the Python comes with a couple of inbuilt math functions that you can use to write your program. So when we are creating, maybe creating a calculator or trying to do something scientific computation, then you need to know how to use these math inbuilt functions to various purposes. So let's take a look at the math function that Python comes with. So you didn't have any assignment for the last tutorial, so let's just jump into the coding section. So I'm just going to go ahead and look at create another file, and this is going to be part underscore 09 because this is video number 9.py, right? So great. So in the last tutorial we look at operator precedences. So if you haven't checked out that video, kindly go ahead and check out that video. Okay, so good. Okay, so once I'm in here, to begin to use the Python math functions, right, the inbuilt one. So one thing you have to go ahead and do is we need to import the Python math module. Okay, so to import the Python math module, you can just go ahead and it's an inbuilt thing in Python, so you can just import and use this. What's a module? A Python module. Okay, so a module is just like a collection of various inbuilt reusable components. Basically, these are just functions, right? So we can just import it and use. So I can just go ahead and say import. So you don't have to install anything. Python comes with all this installed. So import math. Okay, so I'm going to import the math module. So once I have the math module import, let's take a look at a couple of Python math module methods. So I'm just going to go ahead and print them out. So I'm just going to say math.sqrt. So what does sqrt do? So sqrt just basically returns you the square root of a value. So let's say I pass in 100, right? So what was the square root of 100? So the square root of 100 is just going to be 10, right? So if I go ahead and run the code again, so if I'm going in my terminal, clear this, and let me do it's going to be Python 3, and this is going to be part, and this is going to be part 9, right? So I run the code again, so we can see we get back 10.0 because the square root of 100 is 10, and that's how we can use it. You can also use the power rule. So let me just comment this out so I can leave the code here. So we can say print, and you're going to say math.power rule. So we're going to power. What does power does? Simply takes a value and raises it to a given power. So let's run this. So 2 raised to power 3, it should return to us 8, right? So if I go ahead and run the code, we should get back 8.0. Good, and that's how you can use the power rule. We also have math dot let's say math dot ffab. So I'm going to say math dot ffab. So just like this one. So what does this return to us? Return the absolute value of a given number. So let's say that I pass in negative 50 or 89. So if I pass in negative 89, what's the absolute value of negative 89? The absolute value is just the value without the negative or the positive sign. So it's just going to be 89, right? So positive. So whenever you pass in a negative value into an absolute value function, you're going to get a positive value at the end. So that's what ffabs does. So yeah, we have that. And also let's look at some rounding methods that the Python math module provides us with. So I can say print we can say math.ceil. So ceil is just going to round the number off to the next integer value. So let me just say 0.9. This passing in random value and run the code again, we should get back 21 right there. So great, because 20, the next, if you round it up, is going to return to 21, and it's not going to consider this like, for example, you can say round it to 2 decimal places. Now it's just going to round it to the nearest possible number. That's what ceil does. And you also have flow, and flow, what simple flow does is just simply say, you can say math.flow math.flow. So math.flow, and you can pass in a value right here. So let's say that you want to find a flow value of 20.0, this value, just anything very similar to what you have up here. So this is going to be 7, right? It's similar to what you have up here. And if I run the code, what do you think it's going to do? So float simply runs it down to the nearest integer value. So it's going to run it down to 20, right? Because this does not qualify to go to 21. That's not can just be rounded up to 20, right? Remove the decimal part basically. And that's how flow works. Okay, and we can also go ahead and find the truncate. So we can say print math.truncate, and truncate, what does truncate does? Simply removes any let's say 0987. Let's see what truncate does, and let's go in the terminal and print. It simply removes the decimal part, the floating point pass out part, the floating point pass out, and simply just return to us the integer by removing all the decimal parts out, and that's what truncate does. Okay, so once we have that, you can also check the remainder of the function. So we also looked at the modulus operator. So let's say return the remainder. So remainder. So if you look at modulus function, is just say print, let's say print, and let's say 4 modulus 5 modulus, let's say 3. So it's going to 4 modulus 3 is going to divide 4 by 4 by 3, and it's going to return to us just the remainder part. So if you run the code again, we should get back the remainder is 1, right? So how do you do that? Using math functions. In Python, you can also just say math dot we can say fmops fmop modulus operator, and then let's pass in let's say we're going to say 4 and 3, 4 divided by 3, and let's run the code. We should get back just 1 as well. So great, we get back just 1. So that's how that modulus operator works from the Python inbuilt math module. So you can also find the GCD of a given function. GCD is just the greatest common denominator, right? So you can say math dot you can say GCD. So math dot GCD right here. So math dot GCD, and you can just pass in the couple of values that you want to find their greatest common factor for. So this, and you can run the code again. You should get back the GCD, which is just there. So yeah, that's basically it. How you can find the GCD. Let's say that we change this to be 35 instead of 55, and let's see what we get. The GCD. The GCD is now 5, right? So yeah, that's basically it. How you can find the GCD, the greatest common factor or denominator, whatever it's called. Okay. Yeah, that's how you can find the GCD. And we can also look at some logarithms. So we have also some logarithm functions we can use. So logarithms, and we can also use some logarithm functions that comes with the Python math module. So you can say math.log, and you can find the log of let's say the log of 10. And what is the log of 10? And let's run the code. The log of 10 is 2 point this, okay, 2.3 blah blah. So that's the log. And you can also specify if you want base 10, and log of base 10 should just be, I think, 1. Yeah, log of base 10 is 1, so you can get back 1, or log of base 10. I think you can also specify base 2. I think there's also base 2. There are different bases you can use, but that's just it. Again, I can leave a link in the description with to documentation to Python of your documentation that explains to you all this math module, because there's just a ton of them. You can't really cover all of them. Okay. So once we have that, we can also do the product of a given value. So you can say print math.product. So I'm just going to go ahead and print out the product. So you can go ahead and pass in an iterable, and this is just a list, right? So you can say I want to multiply 10 by 15 by 30 by also 20. Okay, so if I run the code, it should now return to me the product of all these values inside of it. So I just use the square bracket and I pass all this inside of a square bracket. They're called this is called a list in Python, and you look at what a list are in other upcoming videos. So just say math.product, close opening parentheses, square brackets, passing your value separated by comma, and then close the square brackets, close of your parentheses, and also close of the parentheses for the print. Okay, so you can see if you navigate, that's how it works. Okay, good. So now we have that. Let's go ahead and print out that, and let's see what we get. We get back 90,000. Yeah, so that's it. How we can use the product method, right, from the math module. So we can also go ahead and also check out a couple of things. Okay, so let's go ahead and actually say let's say I have k. Let's create a variable here. K is going to be of type of integer, so int type int, and it's going to be equals to 2 right here. And I'm going to create n is going to be of type int, and it's going to be equals to 6. So I'm just creating this variable just to demonstrate to you something. So I'm going to say print math dot preamp. So this is going to look for, I think it's called math. If it's called it returns the prelimination. I think it goes preliminations, if I'm not permutations. Okay, sorry, it's called permutations. Okay, so permutation is going to return to the permutations, right? How many possible values you can select out of this. So the number of ways to choose k from n, that's basically from n items. So it's going to return to the number of possible ways you can choose k items from n items. Okay, so how do you choose 2 items from n items, right? So that's basically it. So if I go back and run the code again, so run the code, now you can get back 30, and that's the permutation of 6 and 2 respectively. 6 and 2 basically. So once we have that, that's how those permutations can work. Let me just comment out all this part of the code, so just leave it there. So once I have, let's also look at some trig functions in Python that the Python module provides as a trig function, so trigonometric function. So I say print math dot let's say that we can find the sign. So you can find the sign of 30. So what's the sign of 30 again? Is this a half or something? Okay, I forgot the sign of 30. Okay, that's the sign. You can also go ahead and also check out the print math dot tan. You can find the tangent of 30, the tangent of the angle 30, and that's the tangent of 30. So we can also go ahead and also do print math dot we can say math dot cosine, so we can say cos of 30. So if you go back in here and just write the cos of 30 as a cos of 30. So let me just go a bit faster so you don't waste a lot of time with it, because there's just a lot of module functions you can use. So you can say sine h, okay, sine h, and you can pass in 30 or the sine h of 30. You can go in the terminal, run the code, we get the sine h of 30. You can also just say print just like this. You can say math dot we can say math dot tan h, so tan h, and we can do the tan h of let's say 30, so passing 30 right there. So you can go back and run this. You can get the tan h of 30 is 1. So yeah, there's just a lot of ton of these methods that comes with the Python module, but this is just a couple of them. And if you want to read more, again, I'm going to drop a link in the description that points you to the Python offshore documentation that explains the whole Python module. If you want to spend the whole year reading it, that's fine. But for a beginner, this is just fine for you. Just know that the Python module exists, and also you have just learned how to import stuff in Python. Okay, so yeah, that's good. And let's go ahead and see which assignment we have for today's video. So okay, I don't actually have any assignment for you guys. Okay, so I don't have any assignment for you guys for today's video. So thanks for watching, and see you in the next one. Again, please kindly don't forget to like, to share, to subscribe the YouTube channel, and hit the notification bell so you guys can stay updated with the latest videos on Python. So if you have any questions on any questions you have, let's just drop them in the comment section below. I'll do my best to get back to you. Okay, so don't feel shy, we are all learning. I always say this in every video. Okay, we are all learning, so you can really know if you are really understanding something, or we are not understanding it by not like trying to share your ideas, try to communicate with people, interact with people. And that's how someone can spot out, hey, you are wrong on this section, and this is a better explanation on this. And someone might even explain something better to you than I do. Okay, so drop a link, drop a comment in the comment section below in case you need any clarification. I might get back to you, or someone else might get back to you. So thanks for watching, and see you in the next one. Keep safe.